same shit about Putler. There's a giant sort of article from this project media, essentially. Putin secretly gave land near his residence to his daughters and ex-wife. And in a previous episode, I was talking how Putin and his new lover, like Alina Kabaeva, who's a gymnast, right? Who have they've built basically on a national park land, essentially, that should be like restricted from things like that. They've basically expropriated that land for themselves and built like enormous mansions on the lakes. I showed you that in a previous episode. Go check it out. I'll include the link in the description below. But Putin doesn't forget about his old wife, ex-wife, and also daughters, because he also gave them quite a fucking giant residences. Like, it's literally like residences, because they're fucking enormous. They're enormous. And what I want to show you, I will include the links to all of it in the description as usual. There's going to be all the information, all the articles that you should read. This one, unfortunately, is just in Russian language. It's a giant article. It's just in Russian. If you put it into Google Translate, it will translate pretty well, actually. So if you want, please do it. And on YouTube, like I showed you before, if you can select subtitles and then translate them, auto-translate to English, for example, it will work pretty well. So, check it out. And there's documents, everything. Like, there are still like independent media in Russia. They're not in Russia, but there are still independent media, independent journalism in Russian language, who are investigating the corruption, Putin, and all of his fucking mafia ties, basically. Mafia circle. What was I going? Oh, yeah. So I was going try to just take a look at all of this. But what I wanted to show you is that some few months ago at this point, I think, there were a few drones that were flying towards the territory of, guess what? I didn't understand at that point, because I'm not like particularly sort of, how to put it, familiar with like geography or of what they call it, like a Tsar village, basically. It's like a I mean, that's a sort of old thing basically in St. Petersburg, but so okay, I'm not gonna fucking search it right now. But that's like proverbial sort of way to say like Tsar village is like where Putin basically builds his own like residences, his mansions, and so on and so forth. So what distance from Tsar village the drones attacked? 8 kilometers, 6.5, 4, and that's the Tsar village of Vladimir Putin. You can clearly see where Ukraine was aiming. And that's why I absolutely love what Ukrainians are doing in terms of those like drone attacks on Moscow, for example, which I'm gonna talk just in a few seconds, because what Ukrainians are doing, yes, maybe they're not like successful in it as of right now anyway, fingers crossed once again, but they're clearly aiming their drones wherever they can, wherever ammunition they can send to Russia. They're clearly aiming either at absolutely like the military sort of objects, like a military base or like a sort of a depot with ammo, things like that. Or they're clearly trying anyway to reach Putin, Shoigu, pieces of shit like that, especially Putin. Or like, KGB, FSB sort of buildings, things like that. They're clearly aiming at those who started the war, at those who are responsible for the war, at those pieces of shit who, frankly, 90% of Russians would also gladly see dead. That's why it's like I'm applauding them. I'm applauding their fucking courage, Ukrainian courage, and I'm applauding what they're trying to do. I wish them all the fucking best luck to actually succeed it. To actually succeed at actually fucking targeting Putin in fucking one of his residences. It would be, well, okay. At least like hitting the residency would be great. Putin, I want to see in Hague facing fucking lifetime sentence, like I've said before. Anyway, okay, let's go to the next one.